Our next speaker is an incredible actor, director, producer, musician, comedian. You know him from Stargate, you know him from Breaking Bad, but you really know him from Star Trek. So, yeah, please welcome John Lancie!
My name is John Lancie, and I am a god. At least I've played one on TV. And I'm here to tell you as a god that I was created by humans. And the words I spoke were written by men and women from high atop the sacred paramount. My creators took great care in exalting me into the position I hold today. And just like all the gods before me, Zeus, Baal, Yahweh, my God creators wanted you to believe that I am the omnipotent one, the Alpha and the Omega. 6 days in the writer's cave, the seventh day to see that I was good, and behold, a god. But I am also here to tell you to beware, because I will manipulate you into doing whatever I want. And others in my name will manipulate you into doing whatever they want. Truth be told, I am not your personal savior. I am not your doorman to some swanky afterlife. Because I don't exist any more than the thousands of other gods that humans have created, worshipped, and died for since the beginning of time. I am the product of your hopes and fears. But if you insist on believing in me, you do so at your own risk. And if you are not vigilant, and many of you are not, I will lead you down the path of ignorance, intolerance, and bigotry. I will feed you absurdities so that you can commit adulteries, all in my name, all because you believe. Now, let me tell you a little story. Recently, I was touring these not-so-United States in a show about the Scopes monkey trial and the teaching of evolution. I was at a major university in the Midwest speaking to a class of 100 college students. The teacher asked the class, how many of you believe the Earth was created October 22nd, 4004 BC? 75 students raised their hands. 75 college students out of 100. Now, I have to tell you, as a god, I have seen and heard a lot of silly things, but in that moment, I bore witness to the death of science, curiosity, and knowledge, and I was stunned. So I asked one of the students, why? Why do you believe such a thing? Because God is my bus driver, she said. What does that mean, I asked. It means that I can go to the back of the bus and party hardy because God is driving my bus. And if 4004 BC is in the Bible, then I believe. Now, I know as a god I shouldn't get angry, but some things are just too infuriating. First of all, I said 4004 BC is not in the Bible. Next, I suppose you're going to tell me that you believe that Obama is a Muslim, or that vaccines give you autism, or that having no health care makes you free, or that AIDS is a punishment for being gay, or that the shooting of those poor children at Sandy Hook was staged. Truth be told, I didn't say any of this because I'm polite. But I did ask her if her God required exact change to get on the bus. She didn't get the joke. God as my bus driver precludes any and all critical thinking. It exposes this young woman to a lifetime of nonsense, both benign and dangerous. It exemplifies the mindset of a segment of our population that can't tell the difference between truth and fiction. Because instead of engaging fully in the 21st century, these kids have wasted their formative years focusing on whether Adam wore flip-flops or walked barefoot in the garden, with his dinosaur, no less. Caught in the straitjacket of their religious beliefs, these college students have developed neither the skill nor the inclination to address difficult problems. Climate change, health care, sustainable energy, too complicated. Same-sex marriage, 4004 BC, bathrooms, perfect. Mere belief has replaced thinking. Why? Because it's easier. Because you don't need to actually know anything. All you need is an opinion. All you need is to believe. The Christian Taliban and the likes of Ken Ham have been taking advantage of this segment of the population for a long time. And truth be told, so have certain politicians. This current election cycle is a field day for us gods. A lot of magical thinking supported by little else. Certainly not facts or evidence. Look at all the evangelicals rushing to anoint the demigod called Trump. Boggles the mind, right? But that's what happens when you rather believe than think. When you can't tell the difference between a liar and a ham sandwich. And sadly, when all is said and done, these people will wonder why they got fleeced yet again. As a god, let me bring some cosmic reasoning into the proceedings. Humans have a right to their beliefs. They have a right to not have their beliefs forcefully taken from them. They have a right to verbally defend their beliefs. However, humans do not have a right to force their beliefs on others or scream foul when asked to present clear evidence of their beliefs, especially when they insist on politicizing those beliefs through the courts and the legislature. They do not have the right to change the nation's textbooks or rewrite science curricula to suit their 17th century beliefs. This is America, for God's sakes. And I use the term affectionately. The youth of this fair country need to be clear-eyed and nimble. They need to see the world not through the smudged windows of a church bus, but as it really is. The future of this country depends on it. The future of the human race depends on it. So gather up the 8-year-olds while ye may, boys and girls everywhere, and let them rejoice in the inspired knowledge of the 21st century. It is vital that children understand and appreciate the world they live in today, that their thinking not be clouded by disinformation and superstition. Let the children know the facts, that in the beginning is just one of hundreds of origin stories, that humans through the ages wrote these stories to answer as best they could the mysteries of life, that these stories are not literal, that the Bible is not a science book, that the ancient storytellers used the best information they had, but today we know better. Today, as a result of curiosity, passion, creativity, inventiveness, we have a more detailed, a more wondrous origin story than could have ever been told or imagined 5,000 years ago. It is not the final word by any means. It is a story in progress, and it unites all the cultures of our earth. taking us from the caves of Lascaux in the dream time and evolution right up to the CERN particle accelerator. From T to the minus 43 to the realization that all biological life is one. Today's story allows us to still honor our first attempts of how we came to be. But it also recognizes that those stories were just that, first attempts, and that it is the sacred duty of each generation to contribute and add to our story, because the greatest story ever told cannot be truly great if it is the product of only one book frozen in time. We live in a creative universe. We are one of its creations and one of its creators. This is our story, and it's time we tell it the way we know it today, with all the splendor and majesty we have spent the last 200,000 years unlocking. I implore you to make sure that mankind's astonishing evolution and achievements are the first story that children get to hear, so that boys and girls everywhere, blessed with an open mind, will enter the world with their eyes wide open to the extraordinary potential awaiting them. Thank you.
Keep it going for John Lancie. The poets always kill it, don't they? Every time. It's like, wow, that was just, wow.